I'm Amanda, restorative health instructor at Anew U Raw. And at Anew U Raw, what we do is we basically teach a plant-based nutrition. So we do applied nutrition consultations. We either do classes or we do one-on-one. So today the video is going to be about using different variations of spinach from Eat Your Yard Jack's farm. So we're going to take a little tour of the farm, and then we're going to come back and make an actual raw spinach dip that's simple and easy. And also we're starting a growing and in the process YouTube channel, so you can always check us out and give us a like, and on our information will be on there so that you can contact us if you'd like to do a class or anything.
Alright, so our first stop in our little tour of the farm is Egyptian spinach, molokhia. And this is a true hot weather spinach. I'm told that it was reserved for kings back in the Egyptian times. It's also sometimes called Egyptian jute. Has little hairs on the ends of the leaves. And this can be used for a salad or soup. Today we're making the traditional Egyptian soup. We're serving it with some pita bread, the way that they would if we were living in Egypt. And it's as hot as Egypt today. We'll cut a little bowl of this, and then we'll go to the next stop. Second stop on our tour is over here by the Jerusalem artichoke bed. This would actually be good to put in salads too. The tubers of this can be peeled and they're crunchy. They can be cooked or eaten raw. And then the spinach that we're picking from this particular patch is Vietnamese spinach. I usually think of this as a shade-loving spinach, but this particular one has been grown in the sun here for a couple of years. Died back in the winter during our frost and then came back. This is touted on some websites as being an anti-cancer spinach. I've made a really good tea with it, and that's what we're going to do today with it. We're going to make it as a tea to serve with our Egyptian soup. Be an international meal with Vietnamese tea and Egyptian soup, huh? There you go, James. Let's put this in our bowl. So Eat Your Yard Jack's being a nursery business, I grow all the spinaches that we're talking about in our video today, and this is one of my favorite creative things to do with the spinaches. This is my little spinach pot. This one has 3 or 4 different kinds of spinaches in each pot. This particular one has Vietnamese spinach, Okinawan spinach, Brazilian spinach, and Malaccan spinach. And the Malaccan and the Okinawan spinach are closely related, similar in taste. This one's a little milder. This one is touted as being the anti-cholesterol spinach. Brazilian spinach is another shade-loving, low-growing spinach. And then we talked about our Vietnamese spinach a little earlier. So the spinaches that my customers typically take home and are convenient carry-home size. This is the Egyptian spinach, the Brazilian spinach, the Okinawan spinach. The jewel of our par, which we haven't talked about, we'll see an excellent example of here in a minute. This one is a nice mild spinach. And the Vietnamese spinach, this one is Lagos spinach, spinach type crop in the amaranth family. And then this is Malabar spinach, one of our vining spinaches that'll climb a trellis really nice. So I'll add a few leaves of all these to our little spinach salad that we're doing today, and that'll make a nice different texture and flavor and different vitamins from all these different little spinaches that can add to our summer meal. So this is another hot weather loving plant. This is an Aztec superfood. This is chaya, the tree spinach. Chaya has to be cooked. It has compounds in it that dissipate when they're cooked. It cannot be eaten raw, so we're not going to be using that in our salad or soup today. But I just wanted to bring it up as a hot weather loving plant. Underneath it I have all kinds of understory growing. There's Okinawan spinach growing in here. There's a little goji berry growing in here. More Okinawan. There's some Malaccan growing in here. Lots of comfrey growing in here. This particular hedge feeds the rabbits and the chickens a lot, and so most of this stuff is made as a crop I can chop and give to the chickens.
All right, and we're back at the table now because we're going to make a spinach dip out of some of the spinach that we decided to use from the tour today. So you can use any of the spinach that we used today. We just kind of add it to a food processor. You can do this with a simple home food processor. So you're just going to throw the spinach in. This is Jewel of Apar. Has a pretty little flower too. You can put as much spinach as you want. The recipe calls for like a cup, but you know, I'm going to use different ones. So, and then let's grab some more of this. You can use the stem if you want to as well. So you're just going to throw all that in. And then the next thing that we're going to do is just kind of chop an onion. If it's a small onion like this one, you can use the whole thing, or if it's a bigger one, just use a half. And so some of the ingredients that I have is just going to be really basic. It's just going to be garlic, and I love garlic, so I'm going to add more than it calls for. I think it only calls for like 2. We're going to add like 4. Next is miso, which is a fermented soybean, and when it's taken back to the fermentation, that's what makes it a good probiotic for the body. So this is about 2 tablespoons of the yellow. You can use any color that you want. The yellow just makes it a little more pretty. Then we have good vitamin C, which is lemon juice. Just pour all that in. Next is going to be the base of the dip, which is going to be cashew based. So this is a cashew cheese that I actually fermented already with a probiotic. But if, let's say you're at home, you don't have all that done already, you can just use, check my cheese, it's a half a cup of cashews. Because it has the lemon juice and the miso, it'll still give it the same flair as that like fermentation little lemony. So either way, it can be done. You can either make it before. This happens to be cured with salt. Miso is also cured with salt. So I'm not adding any salt to the recipe, but you can. So I'm just going to throw that in. So I'm just doing about 2 to 3 tablespoons, probably a little more. It shouldn't need liquid. But if for some reason you feel like you want to add some liquid, you can. You could always add oil. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is blend. Now it's all done. And then you can just put it in your little bowl and it's ready to go. It's a little better if you stick it in the fridge and let it sit for a little bit. But you can also just make it and eat it. It's great. So let's do my favorite part, which is the taste test. Perfect. It's good and creamy with the cashews. If you do want to do this recipe nut-free, you can always use zucchini in place of cashews in any recipe. You just need to add probably a little more miso. But that's good. Now everybody can get to try it.
It's very tasty. This would be good on cucumbers. Also maybe cracked green bread. Be really good. Very good on carrots. So for our Egyptian spinach soup, I've got their leaves that we picked earlier, and I'm just going to de-leaf those from the stemmy part. You probably could put the whole thing in the food processor, but this is just the way that I decided to do it. The whole little tips are cut off all at one piece, and then the larger leaves are cut up. And I'm just going to take and I'm going to slice these up to real fine little pieces. Finer the better, I think, to go in the soup. The soup recipe can be found at food.com. There's several variations. Several of the variations that I've seen used the soup as a base and then also used lentils. I think that would be a really good thing. I also seen a couple of tomato recipes that looked quite interesting. So now we're just going to take this and we'll go get our pot. We have our pot that we're cooking with on the stove, and we're just going to rake this into the pot, and we're ready to go. And then I'm going to put that in the bowl and she gets her salad done. This is our Vietnamese spinach that we're using to make a tea with. Alright, so now we've made our Egyptian spinach soup, because molokhia, I think they call it. We're going to dip this in our little bowls, and traditionally this is served with pita, so the Egyptian bread. So we've gotten some flat little mini pitas here to use for dipping in the soup. And so this can be eaten like a regular soup or just as a dip. Nice spinach flavor, good way to get some greens in your body in the hot weather time. This has lots of garlic in it, makes it a nice interesting flavor. On our little tour of the farm, we also gathered some Vietnamese spinach, and this is, I told you that you can make a wonderful tea with it. Nice yellow tea. And I put some stevia out of our garden in this too.
Good and hot.
And so not that bad, huh?
Mm-hmm. Pretty good.
So thanks for watching our video today. I hope you've learned something about hot weather spinaches and other hot weather plants. I don't think, oops. I was going to say I didn't think our figs made it to the table, but they did. They made it to the table. And so between our hibiscus and our hot weather spinaches and our few fruits that are coming in, we've still got our cherry tomatoes that are coming in. And particularly in some shadier spots in the yard, you can be growing some cucumbers this time of year. And so the thing is to take advantage of the things that grow during the different seasons, because our one of our main goals at Eat Your Yard Jacks is to empower you to grow things in your yard so that you can take control of your food sources.